So what we are going to do now, we are going to see how we can structure a website using table. So the essence why I'm bringing this up is for we to tags that we've that we introduce. We're going to practicalize it and see how they actually works. Then we'll mix it up with CSS. So now, like I said, the first thing you need to do is to declare your table. I've declared my table. Then the next thing is for me to declare my table role, which I have declared. Then for me to display something on my page, I need table td. Then let's say I have home, because I told you this is what we'll be replicating. We want to develop or code out something like this, something of this nature. So let's say I have Apache friends. What I have there is Apache friends. Let me see. Apache friends. Then the Apache friend, then frequent ask question, how to guide, PHP info, and PHP my admin. There's the friends showing. Then Apache friends, let me come here. Facts, how to guide, PHP info, and PHP my admin. Then let me just copy. I think I have about 5 code. So even if you hit enter to go to the next line, since you are still in between this tr and close tr, it will assume it to be on a single row. So okay, so I have facts, how to guides, PHP info, and PHP my admin. So I'll just change here, facts, then how to guide, how to guide, then PHP info. What we are doing now, we might not be able to actualize the whole feature, but there's something I actually want you to get, PHP, and I hope you guys will get that. There are some things that we might not be able to do using the table, but at the end I hope you get what I want you guys to get. Okay, now, okay, PHP guide, I'm having an issue. Let me just come here. Okay, there is no close this thing. So when I go back, then as you can see, I'm already having this. Okay, now let's change the color to match up with what we are having here. So using my inline CSS, I can just come here, declare my style, then I'll give it background color of, okay, let me take blue first. Then I'll now try to select from here the one that will actually match with what I'm having there. I think they use dark blue. Let me use this one and see how it will look like. Okay, it's not the same as, but at least it's closer. Okay, now we have something like this. If you observe here, is a full page div, because I know they didn't actually make use of table, but we are just trying to work out something. So now I have to change the width of my table to 100%. So now as you can see, I've changed the width. This is it. If you want to declare I was telling you guys that you can actually combine one or two syntax in a single CSS inline that you declared. You know, I've declared my CSS here. So when I want to change the background color, I just input background color, open my code equal to, I set the color, then I close this one. It's just like this is a line one. It's just like from here, like this, from here to here. Sorry, from here to here, I'm having line one. I mean, it's just like when you open and close it. This start forming different entirely. Then when you now come to this side, this is another syntax that is performing another thing entirely. So now how do I now differentiate between these two? Is with the help of sorry, is with the help of this. Is with the help of this close what is it called? Of this semicolon. I was able to differentiate between my first syntax and the second one because different function. Okay, now the next thing I will need to do, since I already have my full page and here, okay, the height, I'm having the width as 100%, then there is need for me to increase the height. Okay, let's come here. I've closed it here. You know, this is where I closed. I'll give it a space again. Height is equals to, let me just write like 80px. Then I'll come back, refresh. No, it's too much. Let me make it like 50px. Okay, I think is okay like this. I'm having, then let's change the text to white. The text to white. I can also do it like this. Color is equals to white. That's the text color. Color is equals to white. You can see. Are you getting it? The BG color, the background color, is for the background color of your table. Even if you are using div, when we get to div, you are going to understand it. Then, but only color like this, only color. You know, I close this other syntax here. Are you getting it? Then I now open color. Only color is that you are referring to the text inside that particular element. So now the next thing I'm going to do is, if you observe this place, if you observe this side from here like this, are you getting it? There is a space here to this side. There is a space. Are you getting the same thing applicable to this other side? Then how do we now do it? There is something we refer to as margin and padding. Are you following? The margin is referring to the outer part of a div, of an element. The outer part. For example, now as I'm having this table, if I want to give it like a margin now, I can just come here. I'll say, let me margin. We have margin all over. We have margin top. We have margin bottom. That's if you want to create a margin at the top. Let me use margin top now and see. Let's say my margin top is equal to, let's say my margin top is equal to 50px. If I go back and I refresh and save, you see that it has created a space at the top in between the page, the beginning of your working environment. Are you getting it now? The margin is dealing with the outer part, a div, be it div or table, outer part of an element. But if I come here now and now change it to, let's say, padding top, you observe that the top, inside my element, there will be this space at the top. The margin is dealing with the outside, while the padding is dealing with the inside. So if I now ask you now, how do we create this space here? That means we are going to use padding, not margin, and our padding is going to be the left padding left, because we are not creating at the top. What we want to where we want to create is by the left hand side. So I'll just, as you can see, I'm having small space here, small space. So what I'll do, I'll still come here, increase to it maybe like 200. So this is it, my aperture is there. Then the next thing I'll do, let me add padding right. I'll just select from here. That is, I want to create space at the right hand side. Let me use 100 px. Let me increase, let's see here, let me increase it so that they will shift 300. And as you can see, they are gradually coming close together. Instead of 300, I told you, what we are simply doing is we want to see how we can actually practicalize this one. We are seeing here is, they didn't use table, it's not table. So but I want you to see how we can actually apply some of these things that we've learned. That's the essence of this. Okay, now if you now observe, okay, let's just leave it this way. If I come to this side, if I come to this side, or let's just leave it that way. Okay, now then one thing again that I want us to know is that we can give individual width to all these table data we are having here. We can give them individual size. For example, now I can just say the width of this one should be 100 px. If I come here now, that is if I want them to have a uniform width. If I come here now, it's smaller. That's why the text, it moves down to the next line. So now if I want to increase it, let me increase it to 200. As you can see, it's okay, but let me take it from 200 to like 80. It's still too small. Oh, let me use 120 because I want a perfect width. I think 120 is okay, because if you observe here, the space in between is not that much. 120 is quite okay. Then let me check this other side. This place, this how to guide is too much. I can just come to how to guide. Then let's say 122 should be okay. Okay, 120 is okay, or let me increase it a bit to 130. I think 130 is okay. Then, or let's say 140. Then this last one, let me also paste it here. Let me take it to 100. Let me say 90. Then to this facts, let me give it width also. Then let's say 80, because I want them to have a uniform width. Okay, I think this we'll manage this one, even if you can't get it fully. Let me change it from 80 to 70. Okay, let's assume we are having the same thing here, although this one, this hover, that the color of the ink of the link is changing. We will not go into that now because it's really going to take us time, but let's just see how we can act. What I want us to get here is how you can manipulate your table, how you can increase, because the assignment I gave to you, you are going to need this. You'll be needing this width, this TD control. You are going to need it. That one is for sure. You'll be needing it, because if you observe the the assignment during the, that is cell where you display the picture is right there. There are some in the order, so you'll be needing it, and you'll be needing all these CSS that we are using. So what I want you guys to do here is for you to get yourself acquainted with this inline CSS. Know how you can make use of your stats of your syntax, and you should also know the function of all this, just like you know the function of b, just like you know the function of br, just like you know the function of p. That is how you are going to know all this also, that padding left, this is what padding left do, this is what padding right do, this is what background color do, and the rest. What you need to do, first of all, understand that you need to declare your style is equals to, open your double quote, then you now choose what do you want to do now. Okay, let me, is it padding I want to give, just like we've been doing here. After we declare our table, we now know that okay, what is next now is for we to what, to make our are you getting it now? And gradually we started, look at where we've gotten to. Then now let's just quickly see how we can create something like this, something like this next one, how we can create it. What we'll do is very simple. We'll just come here. We are going to create, we are going to make use of, we can actually make use of the same table, but let me see now. Okay, let's see how we can actually create this second style. So what I'll do, I've highlighted it, I'll just copy, because I need this information. Let's see how we can create this second so I've copied it. So now I will need to introduce another table again, another table, then my tr, then I'll open my table data, my td. In this one now, I'm going to have only one role and one table data. So once I come here and I refresh, you should see something like this. You should see something like this. So what I'll do is I'll come to the table, declare my style as usual, then set my background color as usual, and my color, let's say blue. Then I'll come here and select something of this nature. That is it. Then the next one, I'm going to, the width is going to be 100% as usual, 100%. Then the height, what height am I using here? I think the height here is the height I'm using in the first one is 50px. Then I'm going to use a height of like 500px. Okay, now let's go back, preview, and see how it will look like. It's too much, it's too much. 500px is too much. So let me just decrease to like 200px. Okay, let's see. I think 200px is okay. 200px is okay. Then I want to center this. If I want to center this, you can actually do it with your HTML. That is center. You know you are supposed to close. That's why it's automatically closing center. Then you come here and close your center. So this is the HTML syntax for center. You can see everything is at the center, just like as this one is. So now, sorry. Okay, so I'll come back to this other side. If I want to do it with CSS, I'll come here after my close. I think is text align center, text align center, which will work. So you can see my, despite I deleted that center, the HTML center is still there. Then the next thing that we need to do here now is, let's go back to, we need to make these lines this line. Then how do you do that in HTML? You just come here before your text, HR. The HR there stands for horizontal line. So if I refresh now, this is my horizontal line. Then I'll come to this other side because it's two. HR horizontal line. So if I refresh, I'm having my two horizontal line. So I'm going to give it padding. We have not given it padding before. So how many padding am I having here? Padding left 200 and padding right 400. So what I'll do, I want to start from here. Then my padding left should be 200 px. Let's go back and let's see. Okay, then my padding right will also be, let's say, 200 px. I think it's okay like this. Then the next thing, if you observe here, the text is very bold, so I can decide to give it the font size using my either my HTML or my CSS. You know, if it is HTML, what I'll do, I'll just come here, then open my font size is equals to, let's say, I think 10 is the highest, 20 px. Once I refresh, you see it very bold. Are you getting it now? It's very bold. Then the Xamp is even more bolder. So I can just come to the Xamp here, give it my B, close B. So if I come back now and I refresh, you see that the Xamp has become more bolder. Are you getting it? Then the next thing that we are going to do, that is how to actually make use of your font size using your HTML. Then let's see how we can make use of CSS for the font size. So now if I want to do this with my CSS, so first I will need to take out this HTML version. So if I come back and I refresh now, you see that it has gone back to how it was before. So I'll just come to my CSS. Are you getting it? So immediately after the semicolon, there is need for me to introduce the property that will actually perform that font size function, which is font size. This is it. Font size. Let me use, let's say, 16 px. 16 px. Let me go back here and refresh. So as you can see, that's 16. So if I want to increase it now, I can increase it from 16, let's say 36. 36 is increasing. Let's check this. Okay, let's add more to it. 36, let me say 46. So that is how you can actually increase the size. So the next thing now is for we to impute this image here. So if I go to my folder, inside my icons folder, my assets image icons folder, I have an image called favicon. So let's see how we can impute, we can bring that image into our web page. You already know how to input image, then src, which stands for source. So source is equal to you open and close quote. Then here now, then I'll write assets, images folder, icons, and favicon. This is one of the beautiful thing about CSS, about Visual Code. It will be giving you suggestion based on your input. So I'll just come here, refresh. The image is too large. Are you getting it? So what I'll do, even without stressing myself, I can just use my CSS attribute width, then I'll say reduce it to 50%. Since it's too large, reduce it to 50%, and this is the 50%. So if I'm not okay with this, I can tell it to reduce it to 20%. I've already explained this. This is 20%, so I might have to reduce it to like 5%. I think the 5% should be okay. Okay, now this is the 5. Getting it. So now the assignment I'm going to give you all is that based on what we've done here, I want you to use the table to create this. I want you to use table to create this. All this one from here, I want you to use the table, create this. Then after that, you create this down one too. Use a table to create this one, and then you create this other down one, impute these images,